Good morning. It's time for our word problem. So today we're going to get our problem set up just like we normally do. So this is the old way that we used to get our problem set up. I want you to get it set up and then we'll be ready for our word problem of the day. So today we have, Alyssa has a box of paper clips. She used 10 of them. There are 20 paper clips left in the box. How many paper clips were in the box to start? This is a really tricky problem, So we're going to back into the answer, which seems a little strange. You're probably like, I don't know what that means. Well, let me explain that to you. So we don't have any idea what our total number of paper clips was, okay? So we have no idea what the total was. We do know that there are 20 left in the box, and we also know that 10 of them were used. So if we're missing our total, we must have two, that's right, parts. So we have two parts. So what we're going to do is we're going to fill in our number bond first. And I think that's going to help you to be able to solve this problem. So let's take a look at our number bond. So again, we're talking about paper clips, right? So we know our total is here. I'm going to put a P here for paper clips. Now, we don't know what that is. That's our mystery number right now. We do know that 10 of them were used. So I'm going to put a U here, and I'm going to put a 10 here, okay? And I know there are 20 now that are in the box. So I'm going to put a B here for box, and I'm going to put a 20 here. So now, this should be pretty easy for you. Now yesterday in our lesson, what I showed you was we need to look at our 10s because these two numbers are the same. So that means when I add those two numbers together, I know there's going to be a 0 in the one spot. So now I just have to add my 10s. I have one 10 here and two 10s here. 1 plus 2, you've got it, is 3. So a 3 goes here. So my answer, because the question was, how many were in the box to start? So how many were there in total? There were 30. Okay, so 30 is going to be hopefully our answer that we get for the next two. Now, let's go up to our picture, okay? Now, we're not going to draw out all the circles for 10s. We're going to use some quick 10s today. So, it said that we had 10 that we used. So here's our 10 that we used, right? Now, we need to add the 20 that are left in the box. So we're going to have that, and then we have to draw 10, 20. So we had to draw two more. So let's count it. 10, 20, 30. Does it match? Absolutely. Okay, so now we're going to make a number sentence, but I want to show you something. It's going to be kind of like a two-part number sentence, okay? The first thing we're going to do is do 10s and 1s frames. So I want you to take your 10s and 1s frames, just pretty small, up on top here. Okay? Now, we said we had the number 10. 10 is 1 10 and 0 1s. Now, we need to take 20, which is 2 10s and 0 1s. Got it? So, how do I do this? Again, I can see that this and this are the same. So I'm going to make a third 10s and 1s frame. I'm going to move my 0 over. And again, I'm now looking at the 1 and the 2, which gives me 3. So I'm going to say 10 plus 20 equals 30. And I'm going to put a box around it so it reminds me to put it in the box in the middle. Okay? Now, I hope you're noticing that only the 10s changed because we added 10, okay? There's a 0 in the 1s. That means that they're 10s. Now, we need to answer the question. How many paper clips were in the box to start? We're going to say to start, and we're going to put a little comma, there were 30, and we're going to put a box around that, paper clips. And then we're going to put the 30 up in the box. So you'll see our ones did not change. The only thing that changed is the 10. Now in today's lesson, that's going to be a little different. So you're going to have to really pay attention. For part 2 today, we're going to take a look at some problems you're going to have in your sprints. These are the optional pages that you have, but it's funny because they start off really easy for you, and then what happens is towards the end, on the bottom on the right hand side, you're going to notice that the problems get a little more difficult. And these are two problems that I see students have problems with all the time, so I really want to go over them, and once you figure out how to do it, it's really easy to come up with the answer. So let's take a look. We have 9 minus 4 equals blank plus 2. Now, the important thing to notice is the position of the equal sign, okay? So that equal sign is right here. And what I would do is I would circle that equal sign when you get to the problem, because you have to remember everything on this side has to be the same as on this side. That means that the totals have to be the same. But how do you know what the totals are? I'm going to show you. What you're going to do is you're going to actually connect the two sides just like that. Now, the one with two numbers on it, you can solve. I can solve 9 minus 4. So I'm going to punch 9 and I'm going to count backwards 4. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. So my answer is 5. Well, I just told you everything on this side has to be the same as everything on this side. So what you're going to do is you're going to put a 5 here because you have to have the same total. So now we have kind of like an upside down number bond. So even if I put like a little square here and a square here, we can figure out our missing part. So we have our total. We have a part, but we're missing a part. There's two ways you can figure out what the answer is. First, you can take that 2 and count up to 5. Or you can reverse it and take the 5 and count backwards 2. Totally up to you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the 5 and I'm going to count backwards 2. So I'm going to go 5, 4, 3. So I'm going to put a 3 here. Now let's check it. 3 plus 2. Does that equal 5? 3, 4, 5. Yes, it does. So that's how you would solve that problem. So remember, you've got to find your equal sign. You have to put a caret underneath both sides, find the total, and then back into the problem. Now let's take a look at this next one. We have blank minus 7 equals 8 minus 6. This is one of the ones that you guys seem to get mixed up on a lot because it's the first number that you're looking at. So again, we're going to find our equal sign, which means these two have to be the same as these two. Well, I can't figure this out yet because I'm missing a number, but I have two numbers over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to solve 8 minus 6. Okay, so again, I can punch 8 and count backwards 6. So I have 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. I landed on 2. So 2 is my answer here, which means because everything has to be equal, 2 has got to be my answer here. Now, the actual number bond part that we used here does not work here. And I'm going to tell you why. Because this number here, because it's a subtraction problem, has to be at least equal to or bigger than the 7, okay? So this number here has to be bigger than 7 to get a total of 2. So the way I'm going to look at that is it's the opposite of subtraction is addition. So I have my subtraction problem here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add 7 plus 2 more to find my answer. So I'm going to do 7, 8, 9. I'm going to put a 9 here. And now, if I punch 9 and count backwards 7, I should land on 2. Let's check it. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. I landed on 2. So this one here is a lot trickier than this one up here. So you have to really look at what is being asked of you, and you have to remember that the opposite of subtraction is addition. So you can actually add to figure out your answer. It's time for our lesson, and today is going to get a little bit more difficult than it was yesterday. So what we're going to do is, instead of adding tens to tens, we're going to be adding numbers that don't exactly line up the way they did yesterday. It's not going to be as easy as it was yesterday. Okay, so let me show you what I mean. I'm going to build the number 24. So I have my 10 sticks, okay? So I have 10 and I have 20. Okay, and then I have 4 ones. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I have 2 tens and I have 4 ones. So I have 10, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So I'm starting with 24. Now, what happens if I want to add 10 to that 24? So I have the number 24 that I just built. Now I want to add 10 to it. Okay, so the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to take another 10 stick and I'm going to place it right here next to it. Okay, so I started with 24 and I added another 10 stick. So I have now 10, 20, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. So I know that 24 plus 10 is 34. Now, I want you to really take a look at that and tell me what you notice. I hope you're noticing that this time, the ones digit here did not change, did it? So, I want you to look at something and realize any number that's here plus a 0, any number at all plus 0, is that same number. So, for example, I could say 6 plus 0, and the answer is 6. 9 plus 0, the answer is 9. I could say 25 plus 0, and my answer is 25. Any number plus 0 is going to be that same number, okay? So I want you to think about what I did. I added a 10 stick. So that means the only digit from this number that's going to change are my tens, because I have 2 tens here, and now I have 1 10 here. So 2 plus 1 more is my 3. That's how I got that. Now let's take a look at it a little differently. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use money. And we always use money. You're going to use money for the rest of your life. Okay? So I'm going to start off with 2 dimes. Do you remember how much a dime is worth? If you said 10 cents, you're absolutely right. So I have 2 dimes. So I have 10, 20, and now I have pennies. I have 4 pennies, which are worth 1 cent. So I have 10, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So I have my 24 cents. So again, I'm starting with 24. I have to add 10. So am I going to add a dime or a penny? That's right. We're going to add another dime because dimes are 10. So now I have 3 dimes and 4 pennies. So I have 10, 20, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. So again, it matches. Now there's one other way I want to show you how this works, and it might be a little clearer for you. I could take any number. So if I took 24 plus 10 again, but watch what I'm going to do. I'm just going to do this above the numbers. I'm going to turn them into tens and ones frames, okay? That's all I did, was change it to a tens and ones frame. Now, what I'm going to do is say, okay, if I'm adding 10 to this number, are my ones going to change? And the answer is no. And if I look at my ones, I have a 4 and a 0. And I just said, if I add any number to 0, it's going to remain that number. So I know 4 plus 0 equals 4. So I still have 4 ones, don't I? But I'm going to take now my tens. 2 tens plus 1 10 equals 3 tens. So again, my answer is 3 tens and 4 ones, which is 34. So today, what you're going to be doing is a little bit of practice on this. And I want to show you what you're going to be doing. So let's take a quick look. You're going to be on pages 44 and 45 today. Problem number 3 on page 44. So as we take a look, what they've done is they've given us 2 numbers. They gave us a group here, and this here is also a group, but it looks like an equal sign. Actually what it is 2 sideways 10 sticks. I'm not really crazy about how they did that. I think it's a little confusing, but we're going to work with it. So the first thing you're going to do is figure out what number you have over here. Well, I have a 10 stick, so I have 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I know I have 18 on this side, so I'm going to write 18 in the first line. Now I have 2 10s, 10, 20. That's my second number. So 20 is my second number. Now what I'm going to do is I need to put them all together. The way I'm going to do that is I'm going to count my 10s first. So I have 1 here and I have 2 over here. So I have 10, 20, 30, or 3 10s. So I'm going to put my 3 here. And then I'm going to ask you this question. Do we have 8 1s or do we have more than 8 1s now? If you said we only still have 8 1s, you're right, because we didn't add any 1s to it. We were only adding 10s. So we know that that digit is going to be an 8. So we should have 10, 20, 30. 30 plus 8 is 38. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to fill in our number bond. And the number bond is going to look something like this. We know now our total is 38. Okay? 38. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the 20 on one side and the 18 on the other side. Does it matter which way they go if I put 18 first or 20 first? No, because they're both parts. So we have 38 as our total, 20, and then 18. So that's how you're going to do those problems. Now, on page 45, what they did was they did it looking something like this. Now, what I want you to do is do what I did on our example. I want you to turn this number into a 10s and 1s frame. So all you're going to do is draw a line down the middle and up on top and put a T and an O, okay? And I think it's going to help you see how many 10s, how many 1s. And then you're going to do the same thing over here where the answer is supposed to go. T and an O. Now, what we're going to do is it wants you to take 13 and it wants you to add 10 to it. So think about what we're doing. Did I say we're adding any 1s? No. So the 1s are going to stay put. So what we're going to do is we know this is not going to change. So we're going to put this here. Now, how did our 10s change? Well, I know I have 1 10 here plus another 10 here. So 1 10 plus 1 10 equals 2 10s. And that's your answer. So please, please, please try to stay organized with it. Make sure that you're using your 10s and 1s frames. And if you have any problems, please have your parents give me a call and let me know. Please have your parents also send in your work to me so I can check it, and to your teachers so they can check it.